Hi, hello, and welcome back. Or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Heather. This is Miss Finn. And this video is about weeks 22 through 25 of my treatment with Spravato. Can you guys believe it's been 6 months already? Ooh. Okay, you want to go down to your bed? Okay, you can go down to your bed. Spravato is an FDA-approved treatment for treatment-resistant depression that's derived from part of the ketamine molecule. It's a dissociative anesthetic, meaning it causes dissociation, and I also have a dissociative disorder. So in this series, I share my experiences and tips and tricks that I learn along the way, and my overall progress as I undergo this treatment. If you haven't seen my other Spravato videos, I've got a whole playlist of them. So I'll put a link up top and in the description for you so you can check those out. I'll put my list of tips and tricks for treatment up here to screenshot if you'd like. And in my week 3 video, I go in depth as to why each of these things are on the list. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. I know I've been saying it for months now, but I am doing a standalone video of my tips and tricks and what to expect going into treatment. So stay tuned for that. I like to begin these videos with a recap of what my weeks were like outside of treatment, like any changes that I've noticed, improvements, setbacks, etc. But if you want to skip ahead to the treatment experience, that's totally fine. I'll put a timestamp here and in the description for you so you can do that. I am happy to report that I have been feeling much better since my last update. I don't know if the dip in my mood was because of all the things that were going on in my life at the time, or if it was because I decreased the frequency of my treatments. Maybe it was a bit of both. I don't know. Whatever the cause, I am feeling much better now. And I really appreciated all of your guys' kind comments and just support while I was going through that. So thank you. There is still something going on with me though. I don't know what. My brain just hasn't been working very well for the last couple of weeks. But then I also had a few days in there where my brain still worked really well after my second dose of Adderall had worn off. So I don't know. I wish I had answers, not only for myself, but for you guys as well. I don't know if it's depression, hormones, something else with my mental health, because, again, I've got other things going on besides depression. But overall, I'm feeling much better. What's really been on my mind a lot these last few weeks is work-life balance, I guess, and what that means for me, or what that would look like for me. It's something I've never had to think about before, but I know I need to prioritize my mental health and incorporate some things in my life to do it. The problem I'm having, or what's keeping me from doing it, is I've realized that I have this pretty overwhelming fear and anxiety that my depression is going to come back. Thanks to Spravato, I got my brain and creativity and drive back. So for the last 5 to 6 months now, I've spent practically every workable moment of my day doing all of the things that go into making these videos, which is great. I have no complaints. It's what I've wanted to do for years, but literally couldn't because of my depression. But I find that every day I have this fear and anxious thought in the back of my mind of, screw doing anything else. I need to do as much as I possibly can for this channel because who knows how long I'm going to be able to do it. I really have this overwhelming fear that I'm going to wake up one day and not be able to do this anymore. I mean, that's basically what happened to me before. It was almost an overnight thing. And every time I don't devote all of the time that I could have to making videos, I feel like I've let myself down. Like I've wasted precious time. And the real conundrum here is that I know if I don't prioritize my mental health and do all of the things that I need to do to take care of it, I'm probably going to lose my ability to make videos. This isn't just a case of like, oh, I just need to make the time for it and do it. I can set aside the time. I can set multiple reminders on my phone. I can do everything I can to remind myself of just how important it is to do yoga or journal or meditate or whatever, but I won't do it. Please let me know in the comments if you've experienced this before or have any suggestions for how I can overcome all this fear and anxiety and do the things that I need to do. You guys are really great with this stuff. Let's see. Oh, in other news, Scott has moved into the new house, and as you can see, I have a studio here. I've still got to figure out a way to have Miss Finn in frame because I think she's just as much a part of this channel as I am, but still, very exciting. Let's see, was there anything else? Oh, right. I've started having really vivid dreams again. Even stressful dreams. Not every night, thankfully, but it's happening. At first, I was really afraid that it was a sign that my depression was coming back, especially because I hadn't felt that great in the month leading up to it. But my therapist thinks that it's a good sign, a sign that my brain feels like it's ready to start dealing with some stuff, because the dreams are always relating to past trauma or just unresolved stuff in my life. The stressful ones, not the vivid ones. Although the stressful ones are pretty vivid too. But according to my PHQ-9 scores, my depression isn't getting any worse. I think that's about it as far as what's been going on with me. So let's move on to the treatment. I was really looking forward to this treatment because I don't feel like the last one was a waste per se, but I didn't get to have a Spravato trip because I was talking with the tech the entire time. So I was looking forward to this one. For the first time, I didn't do the doses correctly. Yeah. I don't know if it was me or the nasal spray device because I wasn't really paying attention. But when I did the first squirt up into my nose, it didn't go up my nostril. It just kind of went all over my hand. So there's a tip for you. Make sure you're paying attention when you administer the doses because don't want to do what I did. On the other hand, that might have been a good thing because I think because it's been a month since my last treatment, this one was really intense, like very reminiscent of some of my first few treatments. I even started having some anxiety, like not the health anxiety of, oh my God, something's wrong, I'm dying. Just, oh my God, a lot is going on right now. This is intense. Even though I had my breathing exercises and guided meditations going, I still had to open my eyes just to kind of get my bearings straight and calm down a little. So I had my eyes open and I was staring up at the ceiling light and the soundproofing tiles that are up there. And it looked like each one of those things was sliding or drifting very slowly on its own axis. Like they were moving in all different directions. Once I chilled out, I closed my eyes again and pretty quickly found myself in what looked like a large cathedral-like room or structure. I remember thinking that it was a longhouse at the time. I don't know why. And I was surprised at just how vivid and clear this was. Again, very reminiscent of some of my first few treatments. And then all of a sudden, this bright white light came pouring in through the windows. And I could see that this cathedral or longhouse thing was filled with row after row after row of elderly people, all dressed in white, sitting in these chairs, not really doing anything, just looking very peaceful and bathing in this white light. But then everything went dark, and my perspective shifted to where it seemed like I was really, really small and peeking out from behind a kitchen cabinet door, like I was inside the kitchen cabinet, and I didn't recognize the kitchen. And from what I can recall, there wasn't anything going on in there. I was just very tiny and in a cabinet. And then I was in a tornado of colors just swirling around me. And there was a man, surprisingly not Mr. Chalamet.
You ready?
This guy looked like XERXES from 300. I love a man in makeup. And he just kept smiling at me and extending his hand out to me like he wanted me to take it. And I didn't for a little while. I'm just being coy. No, I don't know why I didn't take it right away, but eventually I did. And then, as per usual, I started having all of these weird thoughts and revelations about what we are and the nature of existence. And these ones were new too. Like, everything in this Spravato trip was new. I'm going to try my best to explain it, but I'm sure I won't be able to do it. When I'm under the effects of Spravato, I feel like I'm existing on multiple different planes of existence simultaneously. And that I, or whatever I am, my conscious awareness, can move through and in between all of these different layers of reality. And I saw us as being these points of dense energy where these multiple planes of existence converge. I already know I'm not explaining this very well. I'm hoping that at least one of you guys knows what I'm talking about, because usually some of you guys do. I was really eager to see where this revelation was going to take me, but the nurse interrupted me to come and take my blood pressure. I wish there was a way they can do it without interrupting me. But once she was done with that, I closed my eyes again and pretty quickly found myself in just this bright white void. And there were these droplets of colors that were all swirled together that were coming from somewhere above me and would collide with something in the void that I couldn't see. And when they'd collide with this invisible stuff, every little droplet that came from the big one would turn into something new, like an orca or a flower, trees, a spoon, feathers. And then everything shifted to focus on me. I didn't physically see myself. It was more or less just this empty space. But I got the sense that what I was looking at was me. And I was seeing myself through this new, non-judgmental, and somehow wiser perspective. And at first, I saw a heart just kind of floating in this space. And I knew it represented my vulnerability and ability to connect with and love other people. But instead of being open-hearted, mine didn't glow from the inside like I got the impression it should. Like, it did a little bit. And it was encased in a steel box that I could also see through. And when I looked at my heart up close, every single part of its surface was nicked and scratched and scarred. And again, I got the sense that it wasn't supposed to be like that, that when our hearts get damaged, there's supposed to be a process to repair it and, polish it up and make it okay again. And clearly I hadn't been doing that. Mine looked like it had been dragged behind a truck for 100 miles. And it's not really a mystery. as to what this signified, and honestly not even surprising to me, but it still revealed to me that this was going on and that I had some work to do. I was also able to see or understand how that protective steel box around it was just as much a barrier to anything good that could come in and to the things that I want, because I do want to connect with people and have deep, loving, and trusting relationships. But you know, like many other people, that can be a challenge if stuff has happened. I then had some things revealed to me about my relationship with Scott, which weren't bad or anything, but I'm not going to share those because it's personal to us. But the only reason why I mention it is because I think it's helpful to know that you can have experiences like this while doing Spravato. So yeah, learned a lot about myself during this one. And then, only a few of you, if any, will get this reference. I was looking at or in the house that's in the music video for Writings on the Wall by Under Oath. Couldn't tell you what that was about. Other than it being a song and a band that I loved in my late teens and early 20s, there's a little bit of a connection to my dissociative disorder, which I'm very hesitant to talk about, which I don't know why. I need to get over it, but I'm not even going to go into it because it really wasn't clear to me what the point was of looking at this house. And by this point, I started to have normal thoughts pop up in my head, like, I am so hungry and I cannot wait to eat the food that's in the car. A telltale sign that the Spravato is wearing off and I'm nearing the end of my treatment. So I opened my eyes and sat up and spent the next 10 minutes just trying to wake up. I mean, I didn't fall asleep, but coming out of a Spravato treatment, I feel like I'm waking up from a really deep sleep. And that was it. If you liked this video or found it helpful in any way, please consider liking it. It helps me out a lot. In case you've missed it, I'm doing chapter summaries of The Body Keeps the Score. I'll have a link to that playlist in the description. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for me, please leave them in the comments and I will respond to them. You can also email me at nicepeopletalk@gmail.com. I did finally check my emails, by the way, and I think I'll be able to keep up with that again. So feel free to email me, but also keep in mind it might take me a little while to get back to you. Be sure to follow me on Instagram to stay updated and receive occasional Miss Finn content. And with that, I hope you all have a great week, and I'll be seeing you next week. Oh, I gotta get Finn to say goodbye. Oh. Say goodbye, Finn. I love how she smells. Okay, bye.